Hello, everybody. I'm Carolina Cipres. I'm Director of Research at Zaragoza Logistics Center. And today I wanted to give you an overview of LEAD project. LEAD means Low Emission Adaptive Last Mile Logistics, supporting on-demand economy through digital twins. First of all, as I said, the digital twin is a tool to replicate the reality in a digital environment, so to simulate what could happen with different scenarios, but with real life conditions. This is coming from the industry background, so digital twins have been used in industry environments in the past, and this is the innovation that the LEAD is proposing, to use this digital twin in the context of urban logistics. So this is the approach, and the reality of this digital twin is that it's not only mimicking what is happening in real life, but it's getting real life data from the living labs, and the digital twin is going to be constantly updated to make sure it represents the reality of the city. So whenever the cities have to adapt to new scenarios, new changes, this is going to fit into the digital twin to make sure this is updated. Well, what are the innovations that LEAD is proposing? First of all, the use of the digital twins, as I mentioned, it's coming from an industrial background, and now is the first time we are proposing it for last mile logistics. But also have cities embrace data value and how to take decisions based on information, so decision support systems as enablers for policy making. But also the co-creation of solutions for the on-demand economy, because all together, the stakeholders are going to co-create these solutions. And ultimately, these innovations are leading to speeding up the transition towards the physical internet paradigm. So we have a living lab in Madrid, transforming a parking lot to an urban consolidation center. So it has to do with micro hubs, specifically this living lab. Then we have the hub that is integrating last mile logistics with demand supply matching platforms. So crowd shipping is the strategy that is going to be tested in the hub. Then we have Lyon with 3-echelon distribution that is also including autonomous vehicles for the last mile delivery. Budapest, that is looking at the inner city planning, but specifically it's working with mobile depots and also fuel cell trucks. Then Oslo will be trying again the crowd shipping strategy, but linking it to the mass transit network. And ultimately, we have Porto, that is a business-oriented living lab, and is taking advantage of the network of retail stores that is available there, and they're going to turn them into electric vehicles charging stations. And that is going to be B2C and B2B as well. First, we are going to have a phase. We already had a phase starting last year of setting up the community. And this is also one of the key approaches of LEAD, how we are setting up communities of practice in the living labs. So we have all stakeholders of the last mile represented in each one of the living labs to make sure we have a co-creation approach. So as I mentioned, the first stage in this living lab approach was the communities of practice setup. And here, first of all, was to involve in each one of the 6 living labs the key stakeholders in the last mile. And that means public authorities, the cities themselves, companies, but also consumer representatives or associations, to make sure all the potentially involved stakeholders could have a say on this co-creation approach. So together, they define the value case scenarios that were potentially to be implemented in each one of the living labs, but they also define the KPIs and assess the feasibility of the solution. So we ensure with that a multi-actor approach to these solutions. So again, the KPIs were proposed in all of the 6 living labs and agreed with all the stakeholders, and they assessed which were the economic, environmental, and social impacts that were coming out of these value cases. But not only that, but also the business visibility of them. That is also key for them to become a reality. And also other externalities, cooperation with other actors, and the potential impact to the sustainable urban logistics plans of the cities themselves. And for sure, the transferability potential. We are not only working with these 6 living labs, we want to make sure that the outcomes of LEAD are transferable enough so other cities can implement them as well. So now we are really immersed in the co-creation approach after the first stage of setting up the communities finished. We are in the co-creation approach, and this is where we are talking about running in parallel the digital twin and the living labs communities of practices, because we want to make sure that the digital twin is for sure developing the models that are needed to solve the issues in each one of the living labs and to tackle the value case scenarios that have been selected. But we also want to make sure that the models are fitting the needs of the living lab, that are going to be able to be populated with data. So we have data, real life data from those living labs. So this is going to be, as mentioned, a loop that is feeding itself with all this information. That is why we are running it in parallel, to make sure they go hand in hand. So that was all from my side. Thank you so much.